Product integrations. In this case, I'm talking about third-party service add-ons. And third-party service add-ons come in a lot of different forms. Some might be a cloud service that you can subscribe to, or it might be a program that you can download and run, or it might just be a useful script that someone wrote, something that hooks into Comet and gives you some extra functionality. So some examples of the features you might be wanting. Monitoring. Well, Comet Server has a lot of monitoring features and a good search system, but you might want more than that, more functionality. So for instance, Comet Server is only one server, and if you've got two servers and you need to check in two places, so some third-party system that can view them together is useful, or maybe it can search away people. CRM, of course, you've got customers. Their backup information is in Comet and their contact details somewhere else. Are you keeping like incident notes? A customer has an outage, it affects their backups. Where do the notes go? Not in Comet, because we don't have a notes field. They probably go somewhere else. So if that CRM was linked with Comet, that would be beneficial. Alerts. Comet can send email alerts, but what about more than that? What if it's really important? I want an SMS to my phone, or it should get me on WhatsApp or Slack or something. Or something more advanced. Comet Server can send an alert when a job fails, but what if I don't want to know unless 3 jobs fail, or if the file size is reduced or outside of bounds? Comet has all the necessary information. It's just a matter of feeding that into some alerting system that can do something more clever with that information. Resellers, this is a really popular request about Comet. You can do it. You can have resellers in Comet, but rebranding them and giving them the kind of access restrictions that you need. Maybe you need to run a second Comet server for them. It's a little bit, maybe there's a better way. And so some third-party services can provide a facade in front of your Comet server that can give you some reseller functionality. Billing, we're in business. We're in the business of making money through online backup services, and you should be charging your customers for this. There needs to be invoices. There needs to be payment gateways, credit cards, net 30 terms, reconciling with the bank account, balancing the checkbook. How do you do that? Everyone has some different way for this. If your billing amount is based on the customer's actual data usage, then that's the same situation. Comet has the information. We need to take that information and feed that into the billing system that can come up with the prices and so on. Dashboards, we love dashboards for a quick way to visualize what's happening with the customer base. I'll talk about that more in a minute. So there's lots of things you might want. Comet is a backup program. Our company is developing backup software. We want to focus on making the best backup software in the world. Hopefully we can achieve that. And the best way to focus on that is to not get distracted. I'd love to develop a CRM system or a billing system, but that's just not our focus. We should focus on our core competency of developing just backup software. That way you can use Comet, a best-in-class backup system, with another best-in-class billing system or alerting system on the market. And maybe we'll get to developing some of these things. I know reseller support would be more seamless if it was integrated, and we can always improve our alerting systems, but you can get all of these features today by looking to our third-party ecosystem. Free and commercial. There's a mix of free and commercial options. Third-party ecosystem also needs to put food on the table. Built with Comet API. So most of this is about taking data that Comet holds. How many customers do I have? Did the backup jobs work? How much data is there? And feeding it into other systems that can do more useful things with that data. And so Comet Server lets you export that data by API. And so this can all just happen automatically. I'm going to spend some time running through some examples of our third-party ecosystem. We do have a page about this on our website that lists a lot of these software add-on providers. This isn't everything on the market. There's a lot of private projects that I know exist because I've talked to the developers, but aren't available yet or aren't commercially available. And of course, since the Comet Server API is public free, you can wire things up yourself. But I'll give you a very broad summary of 10 of them, in no particular order, starting with Check Central. So Check Central, this is a web service that you can sign up to. It's developed by a company called Binary Fortress, who have been around for a while. I think they're based out of Canada. They also made Display Fusion, if you know that app for managing multi-monitor setups on Windows. So this one works through the email system. You can set up all your customers in Comet so that the email reports are also being sent to Check Central. And then Check Central can read success fail out of that and do some interesting things with that information. And it's what's called a dead man switch. If you can set Comet to send you emails on failure, and then no news is good news. But if the emails actually stop sending, then you don't know if it's success or failure, or if there's just something wrong with the email setup. Emails can be a bit flaky or go to spam, and they might stop working and you might not notice. So this dead man switch is a technical term where you can treat, if there's an absence of information, it can be treated as a failure. And so you need those success emails to keep coming in. That gives you active confirmation that everything is okay. And mostly Check Central gives you this nice overview here where you can see in one glance, green is good, red is bad. More interesting, it works for a lot of services, not just Comet. So if you're an IT company, you have some other servers to monitor that can also send emails, then you can check everything in one place. So it's single pane of glass style interface. You can set up alerts, SMS, text messages, Slack. There's some more services they support as well, like Push Bullet that can tag your phone. And so all of this is configurable, like 3 failures in a row, or some special customer has a failure, things like that. They also have a mobile app on Android and iOS, so you can get interrupted while you're out shopping. We love that. But it is important to know these things. Free for 5 checks, $25 a month for 50 checks. And they have some larger plans than that after that. So that's Check Central. You can find out more about them at checkcentral.cc. Next one is similar in a way, Backup Radar. So this is another web app you can sign up to. I believe it's also out of Canada. So Canada has some good developers, I guess. This is also based on email alert monitoring. So yeah, you would set up Comet to send emails to the system, and the system can flag success failure out of that. Multi-product as well, a lot of similarities. Push tickets to PSA are professional services automation and remote management and monitoring. So this is a distinguishing feature. What are these things? You know, if you're a pure backup company, maybe you don't know these, but a lot of like break fix IT companies will have something like this to sort of triage incoming, you know, a PC is low on disk space. Let's assign that to someone to fix. All these kind of automated problem alerts that get fed into a task tracker, and someone's time gets scheduled to fix it. And, you know, ConnectWise and Autotask are some of the big players in this space. There's more, of course, LabTech, Kaseya, but ConnectWise and Autotask have a good chunk of the market between them. And they're kind of an ecosystem play. You know, you have to get your CRM into ConnectWise, and you have all of your invoices in ConnectWise. So if you're in that ecosystem already, then Backup Radar is actually an interesting way to get Comet into that ecosystem for you. So there's no direct connection today between Comet and ConnectWise, nor Autotask. You can use Backup Radar to do this kind of email success fail catching trick. It'll feed into someone's backup job failed, so let's schedule a technician to go visit them, that kind of thing. Tags, notes, and dashboards. So starting to encroach on the bigger system territory, you can tag a customer to say this is important, put some notes. You have situations like, oh, the customer's on holiday and they turned the PC off. You know, maybe they let us know the backups are going to start failing, but we can have a note on the account so that all that information is in one place. And that's really important when you have a large team and multiple technicians to fix the backups, and you can't just keep all the situations inside your own head. Dashboards, kind of a 10-foot view you can put on your TV. I'll talk about that more later when we get to a product with a different screenshot. $99 a month, so a bit more expensive than Check Central for the basic email alerting things, but maybe you need some of these extra features. And if this is something you're interested about, check them out. Backup Radar. The website is backupradar.com. So we've had 2 email monitoring web apps. Now it's time for something a bit different. It's Prtg. Prtg is the grandfather of this category. It's been around since 2003, which is a long time for the computers. It's developed by Pestler in Germany and the EU, strong privacy laws, and you can run this on-premise. So on-premise is an interesting feature. API and system monitoring. So Prtg is actually more about network monitoring. If you're an IT company, and you sell Cisco gear or Ubiquiti, Allied Telesys, then you have managed switches. What's the load on those? What's the subnets? Are there new devices appearing? But it can feed in from a lot of different products. And in particular, it can feed in from HTTP API. So we can use these settings to hook Comet up to it. And this is that single pane of glass concept. If you are using something like Prtg to monitor your network, and it can do alerts as well, send you email, SMS, webhook, push notifications, it's possible to get metrics from Comet into Prtg as well. A little bit of hardwiring to make everything work, but having everything in one place is worth it if you're using this. Dashboards, so I've fobbed off talking about this. You'll see a lot of people have a big display in the office that's showing this kind of chart, these metrics. So it gives you a sort of ambient background understanding of where things are at. You know, if something's flashing up red, then you know maybe someone should take a look at it. And it sort of gives you that instant visibility, that transparency into your services that you can get by having an always-on dashboard, just sort of in the background like this. Alerts, I mentioned that. Free. It's got a free tier for 100 sensors. Depending on what you have hooked up to this, you might not hit that, or you might hit it very quickly if you have multiple Comet servers attached to it. It gets a bit more expensive to raise that limit, but this is a one-off charge, not monthly. So this is something you can keep using indefinitely on-premise. Did I mention this is on-premise? If you're monitoring network gear, it basically has to be on-premise, right? So and there's some extra things you can buy for more functionality or extended maintenance licensing, but that is Prtg from Germany, and the website for that is Pestler, Paessler.com. And we have some instructions on our website about how to connect Comet up to this thing. Next up is Prometheus. So the last product was $1,600 and this one is free. So Prometheus is the cool new system for reading metrics about your server. That's free disk space, RAM usage, CPU usage, and getting that live data into one system. Live, like every few seconds there's a new sample. So if you have a lot of servers or nodes to monitor, then the performance requirements can ratchet up pretty high. But it is great to have that more real-time information. API and system monitoring. So like I said, some system things like disk, CPU, RAM metrics, but also API metrics. So for high-level application products, for Comet, that means things like number of running jobs. And the query language for this is really advanced. Like you can write a search expression that's like a super Excel formula or SQL that can write a lot of information and correlate different things together. Alerts. So there's a big ecosystem around this thing. Prometheus is free and open source, and there's a lot of hype around it at the moment. If you want this thing to send you an SMS when like the median number of job history exceeds the 80th percentile, then you can just Google for a plugin and you'll find half a dozen, freely available. I'm kind of joking, but this is a really cool and advanced system. You can connect it to Comet by using what's called a Sidecar metrics exporter that we developed. That's on our GitHub. That's available for everyone to use today. And I said already, Prometheus is free, open source, free to run. It's either on-premise or in the cloud on a VPS. There's a bit of management involved, so you can use a commercial system to get an off-the-shelf configuration that someone else can run for you. I guess the only thing I'd say about it is that screenshot is pretty basic looking compared to some of the other things we've talked about. It's kind of bare bones to start, but it is what you make of it. So that's why normally you would take Prometheus and pair it with something like the next one on my list today, Grafana. Connects to Prometheus. So this is purely a nicer interface on Prometheus. Once again, it's for that kind of TV use case. We have a big TV in the office on the background and you want to see at a glance what's happening. And all of these charts and metrics can be based on a Prometheus query expression. So you can correlate and compare things in a pretty advanced way because the querying system is very advanced. And it looks nice. It's the missing piece on top of Prometheus. Like Prometheus, it's free if you want to run it yourself in your own environment, or if that's too much hassle, there's several companies who will host it for you. In particular, one company is worth mentioning is the original developers of the system. There's a company called Grafana Labs, and they developed the software, give it away for free, make money by having a cloud-hosted version. And even their cloud version is free for 5 dashboard screens, so that's quite generous. Check them out at grafana.com. But yeah, basically just dashboard screens. And it's single pane of glass again. So here these metrics can be Comet charts, but they don't have to be Comet. You can mix and match Comet and server health of other products together. And it does look pretty good. Folio. Folio is kind of similar in a way. It's another dashboard system. It's aimed a bit more at cloud service users. So in this screenshot here, someone is keeping track of their Facebook and Twitter metrics. So they're probably a marketing agency or a design agency. And actually their Google Analytics metrics are here. So definitely someone interested in web-based marketing. But you can get Comet server information into this. You can see these charts are things like YouTube subscribers over time. You can get another chart in here that's Comet customers over time. And if you're serious about marketing yourself as a backup supplier, maybe if you are marketing on YouTube or Twitter, somehow it's nice to see the growth on those platforms compared to the growth on your backup platform and together in one place. Did my YouTube video or my Twitter promotions bring me more backup customers or things like that? Hundreds of integrations, so check these guys out. They can do information from marketing stuff, Facebook, Twitter, but also moving up the stack a bit, Salesforce, Jira, Slack, WordPress, Xero, if you know Xero is an accounting system, but also direct database connections and AWS and so on, starting at $49 a month. Pretty cool system, quite easy to use, easy to set up new dashboards. We actually use this ourselves in the office, and Folio interviewed us on their blog, so yeah, we quite like Folio. If you're thinking about setting up dashboards on a TV in the office, this is the 3rd or 4th different product I've mentioned that can do this, but definitely check them out at clipfolio.com if you're thinking about that. Speaking of products that we quite like, MyClient. The first thing I have to say about MyClient is this one is not impartial because there's some financial things going on in the background. Comet is an independent company from MyClient, but there's some ties like common shareholders and things like that. But what is MyClient? It is a web-based sort of CRM system that you can sign up to, web-based service, or you can pay extra to run it on-prem. And it's really focused on managing backup customers. So it's CRM. You can see your contact details and notes and this sort of thing, but it's backup-focused CRM. So you can also see the job history, the statuses, and you can actually change Comet settings directly from inside here. If you're running a backup service business, this is everything all in one place. Customer contacts, job history for the billing team, and then all the way to the technical side, all inside one app. Multi-product support, so this system is older than Comet and it supports 4 or 5 different backup products. I'm not going to name all our competitors, but if you are coming from another product and you're switching to Comet or thinking about switching to Comet, then this My Client system lets you put your old service and the new Comet service together in one interface while you work on that transition, that migration process. Reseller, so this is kind of a big one. You can subset your customers. You can take one backup account and assign it to a reseller. And when that reseller logs in, they can see and manage their own customers. And the whole web interface can actually be rebranded for the reseller too. You can rebrand My Client for yourself and you can rebrand it at a second level down for the reseller. If you want to do resellers, you should really check the system out. There's a lot of ways to do resellers with Comet, but using something like this is probably a little bit easier than running multiple Comet servers if you have a lot of resellers. Provisioning, so it can spin up new Comet accounts and capture CRM details while it's doing so. The sign-up form for new accounts can also be embedded directly into your website. Tickets, there's a whole support ticket system in here that you're getting for free, just bundled in. Alerts, so depending on what you want, there's SMS, some customizable criteria. Workflow, so this is the really cool, like, if this, then that, kind of, if a customer signs up, then tag them, add a note, send an email, or time-based workflows like every day find customers who are in a certain situation and then raise their account quota, or find customers who missed a backup and then start another one, automated actions, so that's a really neat feature. Advanced querying and email reports, so you get something that's kind of like SQL but easier to use, and you can do some querying across the customer base to drill down, find what you're looking for, and use that selection in email. So like query for all customers belonging to a reseller and then send a combined email to that reseller. All customers who are tagged in a certain way send a certain email, things like that. Plans from $39 a month, although most of the features I mentioned you'll need to go up to the next plan. CloudView. Yeah, I'm using the same screenshot because CloudView is our own special edition of My Client. It's integrated with the Comet website, so you've probably seen this already. I'll just get through this one really quickly. It has most of the features I just talked about, multi-server, CRM, advanced email reports, and we removed some of the uncommon features and then all at $49 a month, but the first 30 days are free, and there's also a limited version that's free for up to 10 customers. So just give it a try and see if you like it. So the previous things have been, there's been some technical focus, there's some monitoring focus, there's My Client, which is a bit of everything, and now we're moving away from the technical and more towards the customer side. So WHMCS is a web-based program that you buy a license to and then run yourself. You set it up on your own web server as part of your own website. You can rebrand it, and it gives you, it's e-commerce. It's an e-commerce platform, so customers can come along to your website and sign up for a Comet account. It has new account provisioning, self-service tickets. So there's a ticket system in here that customers can put their support requests into. Payment and influx. So this is a serious payment platform. It supports about 70 different payment merchant processors, payment gateways, and that's before you start looking at extra plugins. So this thing is actually really comprehensive. There's something for every country. It can generate invoices, handle subscription payments, pro rata, part month payments, upgrades and downgrades, forecasting. This screenshot is from the admin dashboard, and it's forecasting your accounts receivable for the month, and also showing technical support summaries in one pane of glass. There's that pane of glass saying again. Comet plugin on GitHub. So we have developed a plugin for WHMCS that lets you sign up customers and charge them based on their quota and account usage. And you can set up different plans and charge based on different feature restrictions as well. WHMCS is relatively cheap for everything that it gives you. That's for a basic plan. They have other high-end plans, but everything I've mentioned today will work within that plan. And if you don't like the idea of paying by the month, then the last one I'm going to talk about today is HostBill. So HostBill is another e-commerce platform. I was just talking about WHMCS, and HostBill is similar in a lot of ways, and it does all the same stuff. There's the admin interface and there's the client interface. So for self-service and for the ticketing system. So this screenshot here is from the customer side this time. And it looks really nice. And so you can see it's going to give your customers a really good experience. And they can see all their backup service from inside here. It lets them download the Comet Backup app and get started and everything like that. Payment, setting up different plans, invoices, forecasting. And so if you're looking at setting up a new backup business and you don't have any way yet of actually billing your customers, or if you don't have an e-commerce website yet, then these two platforms, WHMCS and HostBill, are absolutely something you need to look at. Comparing the two, I guess the interface here is a bit sleeker. The other main difference is that HostBill is perpetually licensed software, so pay once and keep it forever. And the Comet plugin is developed by HostBill themselves. So it's very high quality, has a high level of integration with their software. 529 might seem like a lot, but compared to other things, servers, cloud storage, salaries, office space, it's very cheap for the huge amount of value it can bring, and that's a one-time cost. So you're not billed monthly, like you break even after year 2, and after that it's there's no ongoing costs. So check out Hostbill. Their website is hostbillapp.com, and a big thanks to Hostbill for developing the integration plugin. We really appreciate it. And so that's 10. I've talked about 10 different products. And new services are popping up all the time. Hostbill, for instance, was new only in the last few weeks. So probably in 6 or 12 months, I'll give this talk again, and there will be 10 new services to talk about, and you could be one of them. Most of these services work by using Comet's built-in API to reach out to Comet server, pull some information, do something useful with that information. It is really easy to get started if you're a developer, or if you have programmers on staff, or if you want to get someone to do contract work for you. If you just want that new report, or if you just want that new email feature, some little thing that would just tie the experience together a bit more for your customers, probably it's possible to do it with the API. The rule of thumb that we talk about is if you can do it in the Comet server web interface, then you can do it with the API, because the web interface itself is using the API. That's one of the ways we ensure that our API coverage is 100% coverage, because we need these features in the API in order to use them in the web interface. So if you're interested in learning more about the API, building something, whether it's building something for your own internal use, or if you want to start a side business selling Comet add-ons, there's an SDK on GitHub. There's a YouTube video where I run through the basics of using it. Full comprehensive documentation on our website. It's really simple, JSON over HTTP, and there's example code in 6 languages. So believe in yourself, you can do it. You can use the Comet Server API, build something cool, and that's all for API, that's all for integrations.